Have you ever seen a modern bird farm like this? It is not like a normal farm because the equipment and breeding environment are very modern. The bird species raised on this farm is the Houbara bustard, so what do people raise this bird for? Let's explore it with us now. The Houbara bustard is classified as vulnerable by the International Union for Conservation of Nature due to habitat loss and overhunting. As a result, most Houbara bustard farms are built to breed thousands of birds each year and release them into the wild to restore wild populations. Currently, a private center, the Al-Baida Bird Breeding and Research Center, was established in 2020 with the aim of breeding the Houbara bustard in captivity to reintroduce the species into its natural habitat in both Qatar and Central Asia. Currently, Al-Baida Farm is raising 300 female Houbara birds and 200 male Houbara birds in separate cages. The farm consists of outdoor and indoor areas. The breeding and incubation areas are also operated in a separate area. The staff is divided into caring for the young birds and the adult birds. Adult Houbara bustards are kept in closed, carefully controlled temperature and light rooms throughout the year. After the breeding season, adult birds are moved into outdoor socialization aviaries. The farm owners point out that Houbara bustards are not easy to tame, as they need their own space to resemble their natural habitat. Furthermore, they must be kept separate from other birds and animals, so the farm must allocate a separate building for the birds. Keeping Houbara bustards requires extreme care, with the facilities being cleaned and disinfected regularly, and workers being hired to care for them. All food and water provided to the birds must be kept clean and free of contamination. The diet is simple, consisting of local vegetables and grains. Some insects can also be added to provide protein for their growth. In addition to breeding the Houbara bustard to conserve the population, the facility will also produce and release 50,000 Houbara bustards into their natural habitat, which will benefit the agricultural sector in the area as the birds are an important link in the food chain. Scientists and local farmers also say that the Houbara bustard is a carnivorous bird that hunts worms and rats that are harmful to agricultural crops. The farm's goal is to breed enough birds to maintain a sustainable population and ensure their survival in order to maintain falconry as part of Arabian cultural heritage. So what does Arabian falconry have to do with the Houbara bustard? The Houbara bustard is the favorite prey of falcons in Arabia. Their declining numbers in the wild have affected both wild and captive falcon populations. Falconry has been an integral part of Arab culture for over 4,000 years. It is even recognized as an intangible cultural heritage in some Arab countries. Falcons are traded in famous markets, such as the International Falcon Exhibition in Abu Dhabi and the Souk Waqif Falcon Market in Qatar. Some rare falcons can cost more than $100,000, while rare and highly skilled hunting falcons can fetch even higher prices. Houbara bustard owners say Qatari falconers are particularly fond of the bird and consider it a valuable prey during the falconry season. Uncontrolled hunting with falcons or guns in the past caused the Houbara bustard population to decline. Now, as the Houbara population has gradually recovered, falconry activities have developed. Hunting is often done in the desert. We can see the falcon chasing its prey, the Houbara bustard. It often exhausts its prey while flying, and finally the prey is exhausted under the claws of the fierce falcon. For this activity, Houbara bustard farms can make a profit from falconry, which will go towards the cost of continuing to operate the Houbara bustard farm to ensure that their population does not decline.
Have you ever thought that something that was once considered waste could become a billion-dollar industry? It sounds unbelievable, right? But in reality, thousands of farmers have escaped poverty thanks to loofah, typically Chinese farmers. In the past, loofah was often used by farmers as organic fertilizer for crops, but now it has become a valuable export item. Today, let's explore how Chinese farmers get rich from loofah. Loofah farms are commonly grown in the southern provinces of China due to their suitable climate and temperature. However, large-scale farms are mainly concentrated in Guangdong, Guangxi, and Hunan provinces, covering tens of thousands of acres. The most typical is the cooperative in Guigang town, Guangxi, which has more than 10,000 acres dedicated to growing loofah, with an annual output value of up to 130 million yuan, about $18 million US. Farmers in the town said that growing loofah has helped them earn an additional income of up to 60,000 yuan, about $8,000 US per year. In Guigang town, a squash industry has even been established, making thousands of farmers in the town rich. So, how do Chinese farmers cultivate thousands of acres of squash? Loofah is grown from seeds. Farmers harvest loofah seeds from high-quality seedlings, then sow the seeds in specialized nursery trays to wait for them to germinate. After the loofah plants develop about 2 to 3 leaves, they will be moved to the farm for planting. Loofah plants can withstand heat but cannot withstand waterlogging, so the planting area needs to be well drained. Although loofah can easily adapt and grow in different conditions, care is still necessary. After about 35 to 40 days of planting, loofah will produce fruit and farmers will harvest. However, to harvest loofah fiber, farmers need to harvest about 30 days later, so that the loofah fruit can develop further to form loofah fiber. Farmers can also harvest young loofah fruits for cooking. In Chinese cuisine, loofah is consumed as a vegetable because of its mild flavor and high nutritional value, as it contains many vitamins and minerals. Mature loofahs are harvested when they turn brown or yellow, and although they are large, they are very light because they have lost their water content and the flesh has turned fibrous. After harvesting, they are dried completely, peeled, and the seeds removed, leaving behind a fibrous web-like substance that forms a natural sponge. In the past, loofahs were not very popular in people's lives because they were considered useless. However, Chinese farmers have now created loofahs into specialized products for daily life. Therefore, loofah processing facilities have been built to produce products such as shoe soles, bath brushes, etc. Some farmers are innovating with loofah by producing a variety of items, from loofah crafts to home goods like rugs, slippers, and even loofah fabrics. These products are sold in niche markets or through e-commerce platforms. Some companies are experimenting with loofah as an eco-friendly material for packaging fragile items or as insulation. Its fibrous structure provides cushioning, and its biodegradability fits in with sustainability goals. The products not only serve domestic consumption needs, but also expand export markets. Chinese farmers are tapping into international markets, especially in areas where there is a high demand for natural, biodegradable products. Europe, the United States, and parts of Asia import loofah products from China, opening up a steady source of revenue for farmers. Every year, China exports millions of loofah products to the US and Europe, where they are very popular because they are natural products that are not only safe for users, but also sustainable and environmentally friendly. Farmers do not let any part of the loofah material go to waste. The remaining loofah fiber or discarded fiber can be composted to improve soil health, add organic matter, and help retain moisture. In some areas, loofah seeds and pulp are used as animal feed, especially livestock, to supplement nutrients in the diet of livestock, ensuring their comprehensive nutrition for growth. Did you know that Southeast Asian farmers have discovered a unique method of raising black chickens without spending a penny on feed? Sounds unbelievable, right? But this method has helped thousands of households improve their income and even escape poverty. What is their secret? And why is this chicken farming method so special? Let's find out in today's video. In Southeast Asian countries such as Thailand, Indonesia, and Vietnam, black chickens with black skin, meat, and bones are increasingly popular. This breed of chicken has high nutritional content, is rich in nutrients, and is good for health. Thanks to these characteristics, black chickens are often priced twice or even 3 times higher than regular chicken breeds, providing a stable source of income for farmers. However, what makes black chickens the preferred choice of many households? Many people believe that black chicken meat has the ability to improve health, enhance immunity, and even support the treatment of some diseases. This has attracted the attention of many people. What is even more interesting is the way to raise black chickens without spending much on feed. The notable highlight of this black chicken farming model is the use of Azolla duckweed, a nutritious and easy-to-grow duckweed. Farmers can let the chickens roam free, let them forage in the fields, use agricultural byproducts, and garden pond models. So, what is special about Azolla duckweed? Azolla is not only a nutritious food source, but also helps improve water quality and reduce environmental pollution. This helps farmers reduce feed costs and maintain a sustainable farming environment. What is even more interesting is the way to raise black chickens without spending much on feed. The notable highlight of this black chicken farming model is the use of Azolla duckweed, a nutritious and easy-to-grow duckweed. Farmers can let the chickens roam free, let them forage in the fields, use agricultural byproducts, and garden pond models. So, what is special about Azolla duckweed? Azolla is not only a nutritious food source, but also helps improve water quality and reduce environmental pollution. This helps farmers reduce feed costs and maintain a sustainable farming environment. Growing Azolla is very simple. Farmers only need a small pond and some initial Azolla seedlings. The suitable environment for Azolla to grow is water with a depth of about 5 to 10 centimeters, a temperature of about 20 to 30 degrees Celsius, and exposure to light about 50 to 70%. Azolla has a strong reproductive ability, and its number can double every 3 to 5 days if raised in a suitable environment. Therefore, Azolla will grow quickly on the water surface and farmers can harvest it weekly to feed chickens. The technique of caring for Azolla is not too complicated, mainly maintaining the pH of the water between 4 and 5.5 and protecting the Azolla from fish or insects that may eat it. Growing Azolla is very simple. Farmers only need a small pond and some initial Azolla seedlings. The suitable environment for Azolla to grow is water with a depth of about 5 to 10 centimeters, a temperature of about 20 to 30 degrees Celsius, and exposure to light about 50 to 70%. Azolla has a strong reproductive ability, and its number can double every 3 to 5 days if raised in a suitable environment. Therefore, Azolla will grow quickly on the water surface and farmers can harvest it weekly to feed chickens. The technique of caring for Azolla is not too complicated, mainly maintaining the pH of the water between 4 and 5.5 and protecting the Azolla from fish or insects that may eat it. Most black chicken farms raise Azolla themselves in ponds or water tanks. Immediately after being scooped up, Azolla will be washed and mixed with a small amount of bran or corn flour to increase nutrients. Chickens love this food because it is cool, easy to digest, and rich in nutrients. Most of the feed provided to chickens is made from Azolla, so the cost of chicken feed can be significantly saved. Each day, farmers can feed each chicken 200 to 300 grams of Azolla, depending on the nutritional needs of the chicken. Adjusting the feed formula appropriately will help the chickens to be healthier and develop more stably. The method of feeding chickens with Azolla is really simple. Just mix the ingredients well and put it directly into the chicken's feeder. Commercial chickens need to be raised for about 70 days before being sold. Meanwhile, if you incubate chicken eggs and sell them, the price will be about $0.6 per chicken. Each large-scale farm can incubate 4,000 to 5,000 eggs per week. The black chicken farming model in Southeast Asia is not too large in scale, but the natural farming method still brings high profits to farmers. Usually, chickens will be raised in a cool, clean barn environment. Chickens raised with natural food such as duckweed are less susceptible to disease, have firmer meat and higher quality than industrial chickens. With a small scale, farming productivity as well as the ability to supply the market are also more limited. Although this model has many benefits, it is not without difficulties. Farmers will face risks from harsh weather and epidemics. However, they are still trying to improve techniques, share experiences with each other to overcome difficulties. These efforts not only help reduce costs, but also help improve farming skills and experience. Summer is always a great time to enjoy fresh, juicy fruits, and Japan is no exception. The most popular fruit is probably watermelon. However, instead of the usual round watermelons, they also have watermelons with many strange shapes such as squares, hearts, pyramids, etc. So, what is special about their flavor and ingredients compared to regular watermelons? Let's find out in this video. Square watermelons or heart-shaped watermelons all originate from the endless creativity of the Japanese. In particular, square watermelons, also known as Shikaku Suika, were born in the late 1970s in Sensuji Town, Kagawa Prefecture. Farmer Tomoyuki Ono was the first person to invent a way to grow watermelons in square boxes, giving the melons this unique shape. But not only stopping at square watermelons, the Japanese have also created heart-shaped watermelons, pyramid-shaped watermelons. And the interesting thing is that they all have one thing in common: perfection in both form and utility. You probably won't believe it, but it's true that watermelons can have many different shapes like that. And they all come from a simple principle, which is to grow watermelons in specially shaped molds. These molds are not only novel, but also very practical. Thanks to them, watermelons can be easily stored, transported, and have an eye-catching shape, very suitable for display or as gifts. If you think that creating these strange watermelons must be a complicated process, you are wrong. In fact, all the melon growing processes take place normally until the young melon appears. To have square watermelons, farmers just need to put the young melons into sturdy acrylic plastic molds. But make sure these molds are smaller than the size of the mature melon. As the melon grows, it will automatically form the mold. And similarly, with heart-shaped or pyramid-shaped watermelons, they only need special molds to create the perfect shape. Imagine a sweet and unique heart-shaped watermelon displayed during holidays or special events. This not only adds to the fun, but also makes a strong impression on the recipient. You must be wondering, with these unique shapes, are they expensive? The answer is extremely expensive. Square watermelons can cost from $65 and up. However, if it is a high-end square watermelon, the price can be up to about $700. With such a sensational price, watermelon is not only a fruit, but also a luxurious gift, a symbol of respect and affection on special occasions. And don't be surprised if you see watermelon prices in high-end stores or in luxurious boxes, because they are indispensable gifts during the New Year holidays in Japan. But don't think that this watermelon is only valuable because of its shape. It is also a part of Japanese culture, where perfection in every detail is valued. With such an expensive price, everyone probably hopes that it will be a fruit with great flavor. However, sometimes things don't go as expected, because square or heart-shaped watermelons are not suitable for eating. In fact, they are often harvested when they are not ripe, mainly for decoration or as gifts on special occasions. Nowadays, the techniques of growing watermelons with special shapes have been improved, and farmers have given more priority to the taste of watermelons. Because surely, on a special holiday, no one wants the special watermelon that is expected to disappoint everyone. However, if you can express your feelings with a heart-shaped watermelon, it would be great, right? And with these watermelons, you will not have to worry about how to cut them, because they are perfectly shaped from the moment they are planted. Square or heart-shaped watermelons can be found at high-end department stores in Tokyo, Osaka, or most notably in the town of Zentsuji, which produces the most square watermelons. In addition, these special watermelons have also made an impression on the international markets. However, as you know, their prices are not cheap, so if you want to enjoy a special watermelon, consider before buying. Hello everyone! Surely when mentioning paper, we often only think of books, newspapers, or notebooks in daily life. But few people know that paper is an indispensable part of Chinese culture and history. A country with a tradition of papermaking spanning thousands of years. So, what is special about traditional Chinese paper, and how do craftsmen produce it? Today, let's explore the interesting secrets of these traditional papermaking workshops. Chinese handmade paper was born more than 2,000 years ago, an important invention of China, helping to preserve and spread culture. Initially, paper was made from hemp and animal skin, but gradually, bamboo became the main material. Chinese handmade paper not only serves the field of calligraphy, but is also used in many fields such as printing, packaging, hygiene, and worship. Handmade paper was born more than 2,000 years ago, an important invention of China, helping to preserve and spread culture. Initially, paper was made from hemp and animal skin, but gradually, bamboo became the main material. Chinese handmade paper not only serves the field of calligraphy, but is also used in many fields such as printing, packaging, hygiene, and worship. If you think that making paper is simply chopping up pulp and drying it, then you are wrong. Each stage requires patience, creativity, and high skills of the craftsman. They have to carry out each step meticulously so that each sheet of paper is a work of art. Let's imagine a day as a papermaker. The first step is to prepare the raw materials. bamboo, mulberry bark, and sandalwood. All must be soaked in an alkaline solution to remove the glue. This is an extremely important step, helping the paper to be flexible and not hard, like an old advertisement. If you think that making paper is simply chopping up pulp and drying it, then you are wrong. Each stage requires patience, creativity, and high skills of the craftsman. They have to carry out each step meticulously so that each sheet of paper is a work of art. Let's imagine a day as a paper maker. The first step is to prepare the raw materials: bamboo, mulberry bark, and sandalwood. All must be soaked in an alkaline solution to remove the glue. This is an extremely important step, helping the paper to be flexible and not hard, like an old advertisement. After the raw materials have been soaked for enough time, the worker begins to grind them into powder. Previously, this step was quite hard, having to be pounded by hand continuously, but now there are machines to support, much faster and more convenient. Next, the powder is put into large water tanks, stirred into a viscous liquid. The worker will use wooden molds and bamboo mats to scoop the powder, creating a thin layer of paper like sushi wrapper paper. But this is not an easy step. It must be extremely skillful. The paper must be even, not lumpy. Otherwise, it will create a finished product that everyone wants to throw away. After having a thin layer of paper, it is time to press to remove excess water and make the paper flexible. This is the step that helps the paper survive the drying stage afterwards without tearing like old sheets of paper. Finally, the paper will be dried in the sun or dried in a drying room. These dried papers are usually very durable and can be used for a century without rotting. And if you want to do it quickly, some places use ovens to steam the paper quickly. You might think that Chinese handmade paper is only for small books, right? Oh no! Factories also produce giant sheets of paper. These giant sheets of paper are often used for special purposes, such as high-end art products or religious ceremonies. Surely when you see them, you will not imagine that handmade paper can be so big. Finally, the paper will be dried in the sun or dried in a drying room. These dried papers are usually very durable and can be used for a century without rotting. And if you want to do it quickly, some places use ovens to steam the paper quickly. You might think that Chinese handmade paper is only for small books, right? Oh no! Factories also produce giant sheets of paper. These giant sheets of paper are often used for special purposes, such as high-end art products or religious ceremonies. Surely when you see them, you will not imagine that handmade paper can be so big. Although Chinese handmade paper is still used in many fields, the production of handmade paper is gradually decreasing. What is the reason? The younger generation is increasingly leaving the countryside to find work in the city, putting this craft at risk of extinction. Paper-making areas are often located in remote rural areas with difficult transportation and difficult to find young workers. Although Chinese handmade paper is still used in many fields, the production of handmade paper is gradually decreasing. What is the reason? The younger generation is increasingly leaving the countryside to find work in the city, putting this craft at risk of extinction. Paper-making areas are often located in remote rural areas with difficult transportation and difficult to find young workers. Despite many difficulties, many localities are still making efforts to preserve traditional handmade papermaking. Paper museums and cultural villages, such as the Sichuan Handmade Paper Museum and the Chinese Traditional Papermaking and Printing Cultural Village, not only protect this craft but also develop tourism, helping to raise public awareness of the cultural value of handmade paper. Chinese handmade paper still holds an important place in calligraphy, painting, and high-end handicrafts. In recent years, programs to preserve and revive traditional crafts have been vigorously implemented. The government and private organizations are working together to improve the quality and protect the unique values of handmade paper. Australia is one of the world's largest exporters of sheep, accounting for about 57% of global sheep production and 92% of global adult sheep production. Sheep farms here can stretch for tens of thousands of square kilometers, bringing huge revenue to farmers. So, what has driven the growth of the Australian sheep industry, and how can farms maximize profits? Take a look at some of the most modern sheep farms in this video to find out. Australia's sheep industry is one of the largest agricultural economies and has a long history spanning over 200 years. It plays a vital role in supplying high-quality meat and wool to the global market. Today, there are around 79 million sheep on huge farms, many of which cover tens of thousands of hectares. The most common fallow areas are New South Wales, 38%, Victoria, 21%, Western Australia, 18%, and South Australia, 15%. The most typical example of a modern sheep farm model is raw linna, Australia's largest sheep farm. This farm has an area of 1,011,714 hectares, almost the same area as Sydney. In addition, there are hundreds of other farms that are smaller in scale, but still extremely large and modern. It can be seen that the scale of sheep farms in Australia is extremely large. Sheep farms in Australia mainly raise the famous merino sheep breed, with high-quality, smooth and soft wool products, mainly serving the textile industry. Merino sheep not only have good wool quality, but also have the ability to adapt well to harsh climates, helping to improve productivity and product quality. In addition, Done and Paul Dorset sheep are also raised for meat and meet the large export demand. Lambs are carefully cared for after birth with a suitable diet, including mother's milk and supplementary feed. After a few months, they begin to graze on large pastures and are monitored through modern equipment. When the sheep reach optimal weight or have long enough wool, they will be sheared or sold for meat. To be able to operate large sheep farms, farmers must apply modern technology and the most optimal management methods. Systems such as remote cameras and automatic watering can significantly save time and labor costs. At the same time, electronic identification systems help monitor the health and productivity of sheep, improving data accuracy. The use of data management software also makes it easier for farm owners to track pedigrees and profits from ewes. Thanks to supporting equipment and technology, farmers no longer have to travel hundreds of kilometers to check their flocks. Thus, they have succeeded in reducing the number of workers needed, thereby reducing farm operating costs. This not only brings high economic efficiency, but also promotes sustainable development for the sheep farming industry in Australia. In addition to modern technology, one of the factors that helps the sheep farming industry in Australia bring high profits is optimizing the size of the sheep herd. With the same number of workers, but in Australia, farms increase the size of their sheep herds, thereby bringing higher profits. According to statistics, Australian sheep farms produce 5 to 10 times more meat per hour of work than the rest of the world. Therefore, although labor costs are 10 times higher than in China, Africa, or South America, and twice as high as in New Zealand and European countries, they are still highly profitable. In addition, the construction of mixed sheep farms combined with crop farms helps to take advantage of feed sources from crops. This is an effective solution to save on the cost of buying feed for sheep. Therefore, Australia has become one of the countries producing sheep with the lowest cost in the world, lower than the global average of $428 per 100 kilogram live weight. The majority of Australian sheep is exported to overseas markets, most notably China, Europe, and the United States, generating a significant amount of revenue for the livestock industry. According to the latest figures, the value of exports in 2023 to 2024 is a record $5.1 trillion, which is a huge number. Despite the large-scale sheep farming, Australian farmers are also committed to producing sheep sustainably. Efforts to maintain land, vegetation, and reduce emissions are essential. Each year, livestock farmers, especially sheep farmers, invest more than $13 million in research to reduce the impact of the industry on the environment. Practical actions are being taken to improve environmental sustainability, such as installing solar panels, fencing to increase biodiversity, etc. These efforts not only bring economic benefits, but also create a better living environment for sheep. With recent climate change, global competition, and market issues, the revenue of the Australian sheep industry is forecast to decrease by about 2.6% by 2024. However, with efficient and sustainable farming models, Australia will still be the world's largest supplier of sheep meat and wool. Lynx pose a significant threat to poultry farmers across North America, especially during the cold winter months when other prey is scarce. Not only do farmers suffer economic losses, but their daily lives are disrupted as well. So, how do North American farmers deal with lynx? Let's follow along. There are approximately 1.5 million lynx living across North America today, with the majority of them in northern Nevada, Colorado, Idaho, Oregon, and Montana. Lynx are highly adaptable and can thrive in a variety of environments, including forests, deserts, and even city suburbs. Lynx are skilled predators capable of silently stalking their prey and delivering a quick, deadly bite to the neck. Farmers have repeatedly found evidence of a bobcat attack through the loss of chickens. Lynx are agile and can easily sneak into farms to attack and eat poultry. Hundreds of chicken farms have fallen victim to lynx. They tend to hunt at night, catching the farmers off guard, and when they wake up, the chickens have been decimated. The surviving chickens also become lethargic and lose their appetite, leading to a drop in egg production. Farmers have taken a variety of measures to protect their chickens. These include reinforcing their chicken coops with sturdy materials, installing electric fences, and using guard animals such as dogs. However, in areas where lynx are active, these measures are not very effective. In areas like Colorado and Montana, shotguns have become an essential tool for farmers in controlling lynx. The use of guns to protect livestock is allowed in many areas, provided hunters comply with local wildlife regulations. When using shotguns, farmers also need to comply with local hunting laws, which may include obtaining the appropriate permits and specific restrictions on hunting areas. In some areas, lynx are a protected species, requiring farmers to obtain special permits to remove them from their farms. For farmers who use hunting guns, the choice of weapon is very important. Shotguns and rifles are often used depending on the range and situation. Rifles may be preferred for long-range use, aiming and killing prey effectively in wild areas away from the farm. Hunting lynx requires finding them. The animals prefer densely wooded areas along riverbanks, open rocky areas, and bushes where they can hide undetected. Farmers also often use electronic devices that play lynx calls to attract them. Especially during mating season, the calls will attract male lynx, making them more likely to appear in hunting areas. Farmers must be skilled with guns because lynx are fast and elusive, and a missed shot can send them running away and returning to attack the chickens another day. Farmers also need to be mindful of safety, ensuring that shots are fired in a way that minimizes risk to humans and other animals. To hunt successfully, the hunter needs to aim accurately at important locations such as the head or lungs. Just one shot at the vital spots will easily take down the lynx quickly and humanely. After being hunted, The lynx is processed right at the hunting site for its hide and meat. The lynx skin, considered the main trophy, is carefully skinned and treated with salt to preserve it before being taken to a professional tannery. Lynx meat is used as food, although it is less common, but some hunters may consume it as a free source of protein. They can process lynx meat into smoked meat, sausages, or sausages to enhance the flavor of dishes. Most of the lynx meat after hunting is processed into food for other farm animals or animal feed. Have you ever wondered how MSG crystals, a familiar spice in everyday meals, are produced? You will surely be surprised to know that the raw material to create this unique spice is cassava root. From vast cassava farms, through modern manufacturing processes, and finally to the MSG packets in your kitchen, it's been a fascinating journey. Join me as I explore the cassava farms of Thailand and journey to MSG factories. The journey of MSG begins with large cassava farms. Here, Thai farmers will choose quality cassava varieties that are suitable for the soil type to increase productivity. For example, Rayong 9 cassava is suitable for loose sandy soil, Kasetsart 72 cassava is suitable for clay soil, and Hoai Bong 80 cassava is suitable for loose soil. Each year, Thailand produces an average of more than 20 million tons of cassava, becoming the second largest producer in the world, and exporting 70% of its output abroad. Cassava has brought high income to farmers, but the process of growing cassava is not easy. Before planting, farmers must prepare the land and seedlings. Healthy cassava plants, 10 to 12 months old, will be selected as seedlings. Previously, farmers had to plant cassava manually. Each seedling had about 5 to 7 buds for the plant to grow. First, people had to spray pesticides and root stimulants on the seedlings. Nowadays, most farms use cassava planting machines to make this process faster and more efficient. Cassava plants will be planted vertically on the bed, keeping a depth of about 10 to 15 centimeters. The distance between plants must be at least 80 to 100 centimeters. A special note is that the planting bed must be narrow and sharp, because about 4 to 5 months after planting, the cassava tubers will develop and risk emerging from the ground. After planting, large cassava fields are often watered with a drip system, both ensuring the right amount of water for the plants and saving time. In the first 1 to 3 months, farmers will water every 2 to 3 days. After that, just water once a week, each time for 2 to 4 hours. After about 8 to 12 months of planting and care, the ivory white cassava tubers are ready to harvest. Before starting to harvest, farmers will stop watering for 1 month to ensure the soil is dry, helping to increase productivity, and the cassava tubers produce a lot of starch at the right rate. On large farms, the use of cassava harvesting machines is becoming more popular. First, farmers will cut the entire cassava stem about 20 centimeters from the ground. These cassava stems will be kept as seedlings for the next crop. They then use modern cassava harvesting machines, moving along the rows to harvest. After harvesting, fresh cassava roots must be brought to the factory within 2 days to avoid damage and reduce starch content. The secret to getting quality cassava roots is to harvest around December to March of the following year, when cassava has a high starch content. Harvesting is usually not done around April to June because the plants develop young leaves and have little starch. From the lush green farms, cassava is transported to the factory, where the complex MSG production process begins. The largest MSG factory in Thailand is currently Ajinomoto. The cassava roots are crushed and extracted to obtain starch. First, the cassava starch and molasses are extracted into glucose and put into a fermentation tank. Then, fermenting bacteria are added. These bacteria consume the glucose, releasing glutamic acid. Through neutralization, the glutamic acid is converted into a solution containing MSG. The mixture is then decolorized and filtered, resulting in a pure MSG solution. Next, the solution is put into an evaporator to obtain solid crystals. During the MSG production process, modern equipment helps optimize the process, controlling the temperature, humidity, and fermentation time precisely. Finally, the crystals are dried to create the final product, MSG. These products will then be packaged and distributed to the market. MSG is a flavor-rich seasoning known as the purest form of umami. It is widely used in the food industry to enhance flavor. In particular, MSG can partially replace salt, reducing sodium intake by up to 1/3. Initially, MSG was mainly associated with Asian cuisine, but it is now used worldwide to add a delicious flavor to dishes. Currently, Asia supplies about 93% of the world's MSG production, including Thailand and other countries such as China, Indonesia, Vietnam, and Taiwan. Cassava cultivation to supply MSG processing factories has brought a stable income to millions of Thai farmers, while contributing to the development of the national economy. Millions of tons of MSG are produced annually to meet domestic consumption and export demand. In addition, byproducts from the process of harvesting and processing cassava into MSG also have many benefits. Farmers can use these substances to fertilize crops, creating a beneficial cycle.
Have you ever heard of an Asian arowana fish being auctioned for up to $300,000? Yes, this price is even higher than a Lamborghini, although it is an aquarium fish. It seems that raising aquarium fish is a hobby of humans, but surprisingly, it has become a big industry in recent years. There are even farms that only raise rare fish species for the rich. So, today, let's explore the most expensive fish farms in the world. Currently, the global ornamental fish market is valued at $8 billion, and it is expected to increase sharply in the next few years. Ornamental fish farms are built all over the world, but the leading ornamental fish export industry is Indonesia, China, and Japan. Here, there are many farms raising famous and expensive ornamental fish such as arowana, koi fish. Japan is the most famous country for its colorful koi fish, which are often raised for the purpose of beautifying and decorating the house. We often see colorful fish tanks in houses, cafes, and restaurants to create a beautiful space. The more unique the color of the fish, the higher the price. This fish is often sold for $10,000 to $50,000 depending on the species. Koi farms are mainly located in Fukushima Prefecture with a scale of up to thousands of fish. The farm also train koi fish for breeding not only to serve the consumption needs in Japan, but also have export value. Japanese koi fish are exported to China and Southeast Asia. There are about 100 different varieties of koi fish today, but the most expensive and sought after are the kohaku, sankei, shawa, and other rare varieties. The most valuable koi fish can be sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, especially high-quality koi fish that have won competitions, exhibitions, or auctions. Although koi fish farms can produce thousands of ornamental fish each year, it is still not enough to meet the increasing consumption demand, especially in modern times when the demand for beauty or decoration increasingly developed mind. So, what is the meaning of koi fish that makes so many people like to raise them? For the Japanese, koi fish are not only ornamental fish, they are also symbols of luck and perseverance. Especially in Chinese culture, koi fish also symbolize success and constant effort. Also, due to tradition, the demand for quality koi fish is very large, especially among wealthy collectors, thereby contributing to the reputation and high price of this fish. In addition to koi fish, another fish species that is only for the rich is arowana fish. This is one of the ornamental fish species that is strongly sought after all over the world. The largest arowana fish farms today are built in Indonesia and Singapore due to the favorable climate and environment, partly because this fish species originated in Southeast Asia. Arowana farms often use advanced breeding technologies to optimize their farming. They can be raised in large outdoor ponds that simulate the natural environment for the arowana to thrive. Farmers also raise arowanas to breed in the wild. However, after the eggs are incubated and hatched into fry, the fry need to be raised in an aquarium environment to increase their survival rate. During this period, many people mistakenly believe that arowanas reproduce by mouth, but in fact, they only incubate the eggs in their mouths, and the incubation stage is performed by the male arowana. Today, the arowana has become part of the Asian luxury goods market, contributing to the economies of many countries. Wealthy collectors are willing to pay large sums for rare and unique arowana individuals, making the trade extremely profitable. Especially in the Chinese market, most wealthy families keep a few arowanas in their homes, believing that they bring good luck and prosperity. The arowana industry has created jobs and economic stability for hundreds of thousands of people in Asia. In addition, related industries such as aquarium production and fish food production have also benefited from the popularity of arowanas. In recent years, ornamental fish farms have been expanding in many areas of the world. With its increasing value, it can become a strong export industry for many countries in the world. Asia in developing efficient livestock systems. The United States is one of the countries with the largest livestock industries in the world, with tens of millions of cattle, of which dairy cows account for more than 9 million. The dairy industry is one of the important industries in the United States, so it leads to the development of the dairy farming industry. On farms, farmers apply special care tips to help dairy cows stay healthy and produce more milk. So, today, let's explore with us the secret tips for caring for dairy cows on farms in the United States. Dairy farms aim to have healthy and productive cows. To achieve this, farmers need to monitor the cow's fertility, health, and milk production. This may sound easy, but it is challenging to implement. Therefore, depending on the farm, farmers apply different methods. American farmers often invest in barn improvements to improve the living environment for dairy cows. Using comfortable bedding such as high-quality straw helps prevent joint problems and infections. Because muddy and damp barns cause cows to be stressed and susceptible to hoof and joint diseases, leading to loss of appetite and reduced fertility. The cowshed should be kept clean, dry, and large enough to allow the cows to lie down comfortably without being crowded. In addition, the cowshed should be kept quiet, as dairy cows are sensitive to loud noises and sudden movements. Ventilation is also important on dairy farms in the US, as it helps prevent respiratory diseases and keeps cows comfortable. Cows are susceptible to heat stress, which can lead to reduced milk quality. So, some farms use fans and misters to keep them cool and ensure shade when they are outdoors. One of the tips for caring for dairy cows in the US is to keep cows in small groups, not to shake the herd too much because that also causes stress for cows. Minimize isolation for cows that are being treated or need to be monitored, including dairy cows in the breeding period. Keep a close distance from other cows to reduce stress for dairy cows that need to be monitored. Ventilation is also important on dairy farms in the US, as it helps prevent respiratory diseases and keeps cows comfortable. Cows are susceptible to heat stress, which can lead to reduced milk quality. So, some farms use fans and misters to keep them cool and ensure shade when they are outdoors. One of the tips for caring for dairy cows in the US is to keep cows in small groups, not to shake the herd too much because that also causes stress for cows. Minimize isolation for cows that are being treated or need to be monitored, including dairy cows in the breeding period. Keep a close distance from other cows to reduce stress for dairy cows that need to be monitored. Providing nutritious feed is also one of the important tips for taking care of dairy cows, as well as milk production process. Feed cost accounts for 50 to 60% of the total cost of milk production. Moreover, the specific nutritional components provided not only directly affect the milk volume, but also affect the profitability and overall health of dairy cows. Therefore, farmers often use high-quality feed to provide cows. High-quality silage and hay are commonly used on dairy farms in the United States. They provide a balance of fiber, protein, and energy in the cow's diet. The roughage must be clean and free of mold, as spoiled feed can be detrimental to digestion and overall health. American farmers also need to ensure that cows have enough water each day to produce milk. High-quality dairy cows can drink up to 100 liters of water per day. Therefore, it is important to ensure that there is enough space around the water trough, especially during peak hours, so that all cows have the opportunity to drink without competition. Provide clean water to ensure that the water is free of contaminants such as algae and bacteria. Clean water improves digestion, which is essential for milk production. In the dairy industry, optimizing udder health is essential to improve animal welfare, production efficiency, and reduce antibiotic use. However, achieving these improvements requires farmers to have specialist knowledge of treatment, milking, infection control, and animal resilience. The milking areas also feature modern systems to reduce stress on the cows and ensure the highest quality milk. Each high-quality dairy cow can produce around 45 liters of milk per day, and the milking systems are also regularly cleaned to prevent bacterial contamination, which can reduce the quality of the milk. In the dairy industry, optimizing udder health is essential to improve animal welfare, production efficiency, and reduce antibiotic use. However, achieving these improvements requires farmers to have specialist knowledge of treatment, milking, infection control, and animal resilience. The milking areas also feature modern systems to reduce stress on the cows and ensure the highest quality milk. Each high-quality dairy cow can produce around 45 liters of milk per day, and the milking systems are also regularly cleaned to prevent bacterial contamination, which can reduce the quality of the milk. In the dairy industry, optimizing udder health is essential to improve animal welfare, production efficiency, and reduce antibiotic use. However, achieving these improvements requires farmers to have specialist knowledge of treatment, milking, infection control, and animal resilience. The milking areas also feature modern systems to reduce stress on the cows and ensure the highest quality milk. Each high-quality dairy cow can produce around 45 liters of milk per day, and the milking systems are also regularly cleaned to prevent bacterial contamination, which can reduce the quality of the milk. Milk after being milked is stored in containers and quickly preserved for transport to the processing plant. Milk should only be transported on the same day to ensure high quality. Every year, people consume about 150 million tons of milk worldwide, mostly fresh milk that has been processed and pasteurized. After being processed, the milk is usually bottled and distributed throughout the region. You can easily buy any bottle of cow's milk in supermarkets in the US and around the world, because milk has become a popular drink all over the world.